My name is Mike Winkleman, and I am a digital artist who releases work under the name Beeple. I've done a picture every day for the last 13 years. They're known as the Everydays. And I've also released some weird videos and stuff. I actually got started well before the Everydays. And sort of as soon as I got to college, I went to school for computer science and kind of realized pretty quickly that I was spending all of my time like screwing around making like weird video stuff and weird design stuff. So I've been making this stuff since like 1999, really. After college, got the computer science degree and got a job doing like web design, and then kind of really started doing the like Beeple stuff on the like side and putting sort of more of my like true energy into that. And then a few years after that, I started the Everydays. I wanted to get better at drawing initially, and so I started doing a drawing a day. I saw an illustrator out of the UK named Tom Judd, who did a sketch a day. And so I started doing that. And then after that first year, I was like, okay, well, I learned a lot about drawing, still very, very bad, but I learned a lot. And so it's like, okay, well, what if I did a render every day using like a 3D program? And I knew nothing about 3D programs, but I thought maybe this would be, a way to like teach myself. And so I started doing that, and that kind of honestly brings us to where we are now. The way that I still have fun with it is just by doing whatever the I want. Like really sort of trying to think like, what is the picture I would be most excited about making today? And then just making exactly that. And sometimes that's very fucking weird. So I think getting good at sort of listening to that voice and sort of, kind of just trusting that voice, because I think when you're making the picture that you're most excited about making, you put the most time and effort into it. And I think people connect with that too. They can tell that it's sort of like, okay, this had a lot of like time and effort into it. I could sell a JPEG. It's just like, what? And so when I saw that, it was just like, oh my God. And so from there, I just freaking heads down, fully down the rabbit hole, just like went ape trying to like talk to anybody, jumping on a million Zoom calls to understand, what the hell, who was buying this stuff, why were they paying so much, what's been done like technologically wise, what are the sort of drawbacks to this stuff, and just started collectors, artists, CEOs of these platforms, anybody who would talk to me, I jumped on a call with and kind of tried to wrap my head around the space. But I really think this is one of those classic trends where it's sort of like COVID accelerated it. COVID sort of kickstarted this whole thing, because like I would have, was going to have a bunch of gallery shows last year. And I had like, made a 50-foot canvas of all the Everydays or whatever, and sort of, had already had plans for shows throughout the year. Obviously that all got canceled. So I really think, COVID was a big part of jumpstarting this thing. Moving forward, all my stuff is going to be carbon neutral, or not just carbon neutral, carbon positive, because to be quite honest, like monetarily, it's just very little money and how much these things are selling for, to make it very, very easy to make that like, let's plant a load of trees. This is like very, very like super positive. Art just didn't start 3 years ago with NFTs, and certainly didn't start like right now with NFTs. Digital art is something that's being made over the last 20 years. And when I say digital art, I mean art that is made on a computer and, distributed through the internet. It's something that I take like really serious, because I know how much, I know how much work and sort of, blood, sweat, and tears has gone into making this work over the last 20 years, but from, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people. And so I really want to do everything I can to sort of, represent that community as best I can. Yeah, I think, if you're somebody who has a meme that you're like thinking about selling, I would try and think of a way to like kind of fractionalize it a little bit, instead of just selling it as, oh, here's the thing, one of one, now you own it. It's kind of like I would try and figure out a way to like kind of like break it into chunks, or make it so that multiple people can own it and you can squeeze a little more juice out of that lemon. That's what I would try and do, and that's what I would suggest to people who own these memes. Don't just boom, one of one, so it's done. Like think about how you could sort of capitalize it on a little more. So yeah, I think it's it really just depends on the situation. I feel like they've all got a special place in my heart.